Two systems, values is gonna be the first one. The more confidence you have, you move faster. If you lack confidence, your brain hesitates. Shift most of your mindsets. Also write down how you're gonna hold yourself accountable to that value. Team confidence, still gonna stick with physical and process.
Some people won't agree with the process. How do we help people get on board?
Part of the process is winning. So what's gonna help you get to that goal overall? For that individual, if it's statistically, objectively working, you gotta shift. You gotta be flexible. Someone have that up here somewhere? Adaptability.
Negative self-talk, like you try to do everything you can on the field, can't shake it.
Regardless of your emotions, this is the best chance I have of getting this ball into the net. I think really a tough thing to say. Obviously, I'm a therapist, supposed to be all emotional, right? When you do this system over and over and over again, eventually your brain will make it a habit. Write out your system.
This is a very, very special episode of All Mental Podcast for Athletes, where every athlete and coach listening will leave with two systems that will aim to build your individual confidence, team confidence, self-esteem, and ability to be able to handle pressure all at the same time. And that's because this is a playback of the workshop that I did for Division I field hockey at Stonehill College. They allowed me to come in and record the entire workshop. So as those athletes from the ground up created and wrote their systems to be able to do this inside their workbooks, this will give the opportunity for every athlete, no matter where you are, no matter who you are, no matter how you're listening, to be able to do the exact same thing and be able to live that workshop in real time here too. And pause and listen and think and really design the systems and custom systems for yourselves. So shout out to Coach Danny, shout out to Coach Mia, shout out to the team, because it's going to be a really valuable resource for every athlete and every coach listening. You can do this workshop in real time right here, right now. Also, while I am a sports therapist, this is for educational and informational purposes only. This is not a substitute for therapy. If you do need a therapist, please do find one inside your local area. Enjoy the workshop.
All right, so my name is Charles Armstrong Hicks. I am a therapist, a couple of different things. On a little bit, I am a therapist for Boston Public Schools. I also am a sports therapist in my own private practice. Also, obviously, I do the podcast as well, specifically for athletes. I know either you heard Maddie's or you heard Danny's podcast. Raise your hand if you heard the podcast or listened to it. Nice. Shame on the rest. No, I'm kidding. No, nice. That's what's up. That's cool. Yeah, so I mean, it's really cool. I started as like just seeing what happens, and a lot of athletes find it to be really beneficial, and a lot of different good conversations come out of it. Confidence is the conversation that always comes up. Every single athlete's like, yeah, I want confidence. I'm like, all right, cool. We'll talk about that. So for objectives for today, there is two. So you will leave with a fuller understanding of like the insight into confidence, failure, pressure, and how that impacts your actual overall performance. And then secondly, two key systems, what like little notebooks are for. So really the only notes, you can take whatever notes you want, but most importantly, like the two key systems that we talk about throughout the workshop. I call it a workshop because in here we'll be figuring that out for your own self. Small disclaimer, even though I am a therapist, like this isn't therapy. I'm not therapizing all of you right now. So I am a therapist, but this isn't therapy. So the agenda is we'll talk about some foundational aspects, a little bit about the survey. Appreciate y'all for filling out the survey. That was really good information. Psychoed in like social work world and therapy world, that just means giving y'all education about the psychology of different topics. We're rolling to the strategies. I split things into like before, during, and after. So the strategies for before game day, during game day, after game day is what I mean by that. So the strategies for each of them. And then we'll have a section for like questions where everyone can be able to ask questions. And then like a confidential Q&A, like the coaches can leave for a bit and y'all can ask whatever questions you want. Because sometimes it's a better environment for you all. The survey. Again, appreciate y'all for taking time to fill out that survey. Hopefully making it anonymous made it so y'all can be more honest. And I'm sure once y'all saw the results, because Coach Danny said that she showed you guys a bit, that you're like, oh, we all lack confidence. Damn. Or like everyone had the same thing. Mistakes, confidence is everything that someone want to work on. So that was the most needed topics, was confidence, mental self-discipline, failure, focus, which is all completely normal. Like I talk about, like no matter which athlete I speak to, whether different sport, D1, D2, pro level, confidence is a really, really big thing. And it's really being pushed a lot by, and also any documentary you listen to, every single coach, confidence is huge. So it's totally normal to be able to work and focus on those topics. Most struggles are like negative self-talk, self-sabotage, motivation. And just, like the two strategies that we learned today will do all of that. All of it. So we'll cover it all. Like it's not going to be like a million different strategies that to kind of figure out how to be able to do. It'll be two. Encompass all of it. Strengths. your strengths of having teamwork and your strengths of holding each other accountable, holding yourselves accountable is really big strengths, and that will go a long way into the strategies that we talk about. So the fact that you have those as strengths is very important. And the good news, though, even though it's like everything is, there's a couple of different things you want to focus on, they're all really interconnected, which some might view as a bad thing because if one thing goes, everything goes. But I view it as a good thing, which means you can work on them all at the same time. So as far as what is connected and what everything kind of does, the reason why confidence is so important is because confidence is a mental construct. It's something that we mentally have. The positive for confidence is if you have confidence, then when your brain intakes information, then it's confident that it needs to make this decision, then it sends fires to the synapses and myelin sheath and tells your muscles to move. So the more confidence you have, if your confidence is solid, your brain says, hey, I'm seeing this, do this, you move faster. If you lack confidence, the struggle with that is then your brain hesitates. It's like, I see this, should I make that pass? But maybe that half a second or that extra second means you move slower by half a second or extra second. And that's when the pass gets intercepted. That's when you miss the shot. That's when a goal happens. That's why confidence is so important. So if you can be able to solidify that from a concrete way, then that can be able to help your mental process so you can actually perform better on the field. Focus is really important because our brain, same thing, like everything starts from the mental aspect of things and moves into the physical. Same thing for focus. Your focus is basically being and staying inside the present moment. If you're focused on what happened before, if you're focused on what's going to happen later, then your brain is filling up that space in different areas. And it has a hard time being able to articulate what's happening in front of it. How they're connected is if your confidence goes, you're like, dang, I missed that shot. Next time, will I miss that shot again? Will I not miss that shot again? Like, there goes your focus. If your focus goes, that's when you actually make that mistake. Right? What it seemed like from the data is like mistakes happen and that creates pressure. Because now it's like, all right, I made a mistake. Now I have negative self-talk. Will this happen again? And then you have that pressure when next time the ball comes your way, that's a lot to be able to handle. And if you can't handle pressure really well, that also negatively impacts your overall performance. Then you have like self-esteem and failure, and it goes right back into team confidence. Now it's like, I don't have confidence in myself. I'm worried about my mistakes. This person might be pissed off because they missed a shot next time. If I send it over there, will that really work? Can we win the game? Can we not win the game? So it's all interconnected. It all rounds up. Do we have any questions so far? Is this tracking with all of you? Like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So strategies. We'll start with before game day strategies. We start there. So this is you'll use your notebooks in a second. So the first strategy is actually values. This is the first system. There's going to be two systems. Values is going to be the first one. Everything we'll talk about for the before game day strategies will go into your value system. Raise your hand if you have a value system. Like, does anyone know what their values are? No one? One person? Yes. Let's go. All right. No, most people don't. Like, most people don't think about what their value. I didn't until I was like, I don't know, a couple years ago. Like, what are your values as an individual? Your values is basically like a person's standard of their behavior. Who do you want to be? If you don't know who you want to be, how do you know when you get there? You don't. So throughout this, so you will leave with a value system of every single day. You'll be able to clock, like, am I becoming the individual, the athlete that I want to be able to become? Extremely important. It helps your motivation, it helps your self-discipline, it helps your self-esteem, your self-mattering, your confidence, helps on a plethora of ways what you're doing. So values, again, I just talked about like why they're so important. You know, whatever different value that you choose, whether it's accountability, teamwork, team values. So, you know, are those you guys' values up there? Like never settle, accountability, hard work. Is that your values? Long time ago.
Before my time.
Oh, damn it. Do you guys have values now?
We have some team values that we've like developed.
Yeah.
We've done like the Brene Brown system of values a couple years ago. So like that core group kind of compared them all or whatever overlapped. We kind of listed them as a 5. They
Nice.
all have like a band factors. But
Yeah.
this core group, it's so new. So we have to do
Yeah. Yeah, and that's really cool. The fact that you all are very, like, most of you are new to the team, whether like you're transferring in or like literally you're a freshman, that's really important. So now you have the opportunity to be able to create your own values. Where instead of coming in, it's like, here's your values. Like, it's already been established. You can actually create your own. So hopefully this process, while you're creating your own individual values, eventually you end up creating team values, and that'll be really critical. Again, why it's important, I already mentioned it, like all these different things wrap into your value system. So what we're going to do is you all have a sheet of paper that has a bunch of values on them. You can make your own if you want. But look at the list of values. We're going to take 5 minutes to choose 2 or 3 values. You can, if one's not on there and that's like, oh, I thought of this one, write that down. So choose 2 to 3 values that you want to become as an athlete. And also write down how you're going to hold yourself accountable to that value. It's nice to say that you want to hold yourself accountable. But if you don't know how you're going to do that, it's difficult. So give you like 5 minutes. All right. So now that you have 2 or 3 values, wrote down how you're going to kind of make sure that you uphold those values. I want you to then turn and share those with a teammate, and then share also like why you chose those as your values. All right. I'm curious. What are some of your values? I'm going to write these down too, actually. I'm going to need these. All right. What are some of your values that you commit with? Selfless. Hopefully I spell this correctly. All right, selfless. What else?
Work ethic.
Work ethic.
Trust.
Trust. Nice. I'm gonna circle this one.
Respect.
Respect. Cool. Actually, what do you mean by respect? In what regards? In what ways?
Giving respect to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Being
Nice. I dig.
Growth.
Growth. Nice. What else? Like 3 more.
Leadership.
Leadership. 2 more. Maddie.
Resilience.
I'm gonna. Can you read that to me?
R-E-S-I-L-I-E-N.
Yeah. Thanks, Maddie.
Adaptability.
Damn. All right, yeah, read that one to me too. A-D-A-T-A.
B-I-L-I-T-Y.
All right, cool. I have more confidence in my spelling. All right. No, go ahead. No. You raise your hand. Do it.
I said purpose.
Purpose. I like that one. Nice. All right. How was that process for you all to share with your teammates? You get to learn more about each other, like the whole trust thing, which we'll come back to a couple different times, especially talking about like team confidence is part of trust is learning about your teammates. If you learn about them, like, oh, okay, that's what their values are. This is cool. Now, the bigger piece is it's nice to have them, but how do you work towards doing that? That's why I kind of asked you about respect, because it can go in so many different ways. It's like, I respect myself. When your version of respect might be really particular to you is part of respecting myself is like putting enough nutrients in my body, getting enough sleep, or doing this or doing that. So how you end up defining your values is really critical. You don't have win as a value. Yes. Let's go. All right. Win. There you go. Win. I'm going to circle this one too. All right. Cool. Someone had a win. Nice. All right. Awesome. So we're going to use these values that you created all throughout. And so the point, actually, before I go forward, so what I want you to do with these values is write them down elsewhere, like in your dorm rooms, and hang them up. So every single morning, you should be looking at your values as to how am I going to make sure that I'm the person that I want to be today. Every single morning. And every single night, it's did I do these things? And if I didn't, what corrections and what changes do I need to make? Because if you don't know where you're going, you're just a lost soul wandering around on the turf. So you need to be able to make sure that you have your values. And your values are going to be really critically important for other things that we cover, especially as we dive into confidence, which is essentially one belief in one's abilities as self or as a team in this case too. Because team confidence is different for every sport. For your sport in particular, it's really important. We'll touch on that in a little bit as well. But first, when it comes to confidence, I already explained why it's important, like the mentality of it, and then also how that impacts your actual physical aspect of it. But it's important to know that there's pillars of confidence. Where does your confidence come from? Technically, there's 5. The last one is self-regulation, but that one is, take that one out. That's not really needed for this one. It's more of like self-regulation is more of like a mental, emotional strategy itself rather than a pillar, nonetheless. So I'm going to go through all of these, and then we'll go from there. Physical confidence is essentially I'm not going to explain why like one's important or not important, not just yet. But physical confidence is your belief system comes from all the work that you put in, all the training, all the drills, your sleep, your preparation, your nutrition, all that goes into your physical confidence. So those types of people are like, hey, if I practice really well, if I practice really strong, I have confidence in how I'm going to be able to play because I know I put in the hours of work to do so. Process confidence is having confidence inside the process itself. So that could mean, and this is all individual confidence right now. We'll go to team confidence in a minute, but this is individual confidence. So sticking to the routine, like if me practicing this drill every single day in and out, I'm worse at first, but I know eventually the process through that, I'll end up getting to where I want to be able to go. You're trusting in the process, you're trusting in the prep, you're trusting in the strategy. Outcome confidence is, do I believe that I will win? Do I believe I will win whatever it is that I'm doing? In your sense, do I believe that I will win this field hockey game? Performance is your confidence comes from your past performances. If I performed really well yesterday, I have confidence I'm going to be able to perform well today. If I didn't perform well yesterday, that's going to impact my confidence. Those are the 4 pillars of confidence, or where your confidence comes from. Any questions so far? So side note, I didn't like make all this random shit up. I'm a big nerd, so I read a whole bunch of research. So if anyone's like a nerd like me and like wants the research, I'll send it to you if you want it. But those are the pillars of confidence. What we're gonna do next is do y'all have your phones by chance?
Yeah.
Yes, get your phones. We're going to do a survey. What I was going to ask you is like where I know you can have confidence from like multiple different pillars, but where is like your main pillar of confidence? Where does that lie? All right, so most people have performance confidence in school. So your previous performance impacts your next performance. After that was physical, then outcome and process is pretty similar. This is really good information to be able to know. Should I coach is like, I see things. Taking notes. That's cool. Thank you. All right, so I want to shift most of your mindsets to either being under physical and process. So each one has its own kind of like pro and con to it. The issue with performance confidence and the issue with outcome confidence is very flimsy. It's very finicky. So the goal of confidence is to be able to have things that are concrete, that are pretty stable, and things that are inside your control. You have a team sport. It's not like it's tennis, to where it's like, it's just like me and one individual. It's a team sport. Especially in your individual confidence, if you're, I'm just gonna go back so it's like you can see it. If yours is performance, right? Like your performance is also predicated on other individuals. Like if you are a defender and you're covering a certain zone and someone's covering another zone, but they don't cover their zone well, then that can mess up your zone. It's predicated on that. If you're a goalie and you get 30 shots on goal, like what am I supposed to do? Like you can't. So if you're performance confidence, it's gonna be really flimsy and really difficult. If it's outcome confidence, again, like a lot of players on the field, how much control do you have over whether you win the game or not? Like, yes, obviously, if you are on defense and you're playing really well and getting the ball back to like your offensive side of the field, then yeah, you have a big impact on whether you win the game or not. Yes, I get that nuance. But ultimately, performance and outcome, you have difficult time. It's flimsy and it wavers. If you play a really good team, you guys perform negatively, does that mean the next game you're like, I don't have any confidence? Which then means if you have less confidence, you shoot slower, you pass slower, you move slower, that impacts you to play more negatively. See what I mean by how that is flimsy in that sense? I push you all to either being on a physical or a process confidence. Way more stable. You have way more control over that. It's going to be way more beneficial. Question is, well, Charles, how? So, 2 different ways. And this is, again, it goes back into your values and how you build into things. I'll pause real quick because someone had the goal of like winning. Yes. I know, I get it. It's like if your confidence, I know what your confidence was, but if your confidence is outcome and you want to win, everyone wants to win. Like, of course, you're here because you want to win. Coaches are here because you want to win. I need you to be able to win as well. Everyone wants to win. How you win, you don't win by dreaming up, like, I want to win. Like, I believe I can win. That's not how you win. How you win is through physical, putting in the active work to be able to train yourself to be able to make the moves you need to make, and process. Trusting the process from what the coaches tell you for the game plan. Trusting the process between you and the communication that you have with the teammate. If you're a goalie, you're trusting the defenders to be able to make certain maneuvers like, hey, listen, I work really well. You force the ball over here. I can defend that well. How can we communicate? And that is going to be a process that develops over the course of the season. So when you're on that wavelength, that's what's going to actually help you win. Dreaming of winning and basing if you're going to win today on yesterday is finicky. So if you want to win, that's how you get here. This is how you get here. In fact, you ever watch football? Yes. The Philadelphia Eagles just won the Super Bowl. If you listen to Jalen Hurts, the preseason is all about the process. Their offense is exactly the same as last year, which he's like two characters. The defense is different. He's like, they have new offensive coordinator. It's the process. The preseason is about figuring out who we are as a team. What is our identity? What do we need to work on? What do we need to do well? Last season, they were 6-0 at some point, I'm pretty sure, or season before that. And he was still talking process. Halfway through the season, that's how you end up winning. Through process and through physical. Now, how do you build it? It's a better question. Physical, a couple of ways you can be able to do it. Obviously, specific drills that you need to be able to improve your performance, whether that's agility, whether that's strength, whether it's like a particular drill for you and yourself. Extra training, do not overtrain, but like extra training that makes sense for you and your position. Additional film study might be some people's things. Nutrition, tracking, maybe need more carbs, people have more energy, it all depends. Having different SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, relatable, time-based. Most people have heard of SMART goals before. For whether you need like specific amount of sleep, whether you need to be able to intake more water. All these things are different ways that you can be able to build your physical confidence. It's very concrete. If you feel like I was slow on the field when it came to people attacking my right side, very concrete. What do? Go back to practice and find drills. Coach, I need drills that help like drill my right side. Very concrete. You can control that. Process is very interesting on an individual level because it's a communication thing I kind of talked about. So one is just understanding the process for you as a player. Like you're all new here, which is really cool. Not all of you are new, but like it's a new team here as well. So it's figuring out like what is my process for this team. So that might be having conversation with your coaches of like, what is my process for me as a player? Oh, you want me to get a lot of assists. Why? I'm usually like a good shooter. Well, you have fast footwork. So you have fast footwork. They pull this way. That leaves your teammates open. If you don't know that, you're going to the game like, why does coach want me to pass so much? I don't understand. I'm so pissed off. I can't shoot. Like, I don't get it. If you understand the process, like, oh, that's going to help us win. That makes sense. Process. Also understanding like what they want you to improve on too. And also understanding the game plan is also a way to be able to help understand the process of things. Another good thing, and I highlight this one, is cognitive reframing. It's a social work skill. In a nutshell, we all have thoughts that come into our heads. The big thing is to reframe that thought into something else. For example, if you're in practice and you're running a drill and you're messing up constantly and it's a pain, you're like, damn, this sucks, or this person sucks, and whatever happens, if you reframe that to saying like, no, it's practice. It's a part of the process. We're supposed to fail in practice. We are supposed to figure this out. We've only been together for 12 days now? 12 days. We're supposed to figure it out. If your process for the last preseason game was we're going to go out there and win, but someone else's process was we're going to go out there and figure out what we do well, you're going to have two different outcomes about how that game went. Someone's like, I lost, and like, it's not my fault. It's this person's fault. And someone else is like, that's the process. Let's talk about it to figure out how we can defend that next time throughout the season. It makes a really big difference about how you view things and what happens to your confidence depending on which one you fall under. And then you would tie that into your goal. So if your goal is growth, for example, physical, this is how I grow. These different drills. If I do these drills, I'm going to be growing. Process. Did I communicate with my teammates about how we can be able to form a better process? Doesn't matter which one I pick. Adaptability. I'm going to be adaptable in figuring out what physical things I need. I'm going to be adaptable in the process. It doesn't matter what value you have up here. You can plug this into your value system. See how like values are tied into things now? So every night when you go to sleep, before you go to sleep, look at like, this is what this is. My confidence is process, or I'm trying to be processed. I'm trying to be more physical focused. How did I actually do that today? You can journal it and write it down. Even if you don't journal it, because some people don't like to journal, so it's all good. If you think about that, it's still extremely important. So what I want you to do is take like a minute or two to like write down how this fits into the values that you wrote down before. in a couple minutes. Okay, cool. And also, like, over time, you're gonna change your values, adjust things, and make things and flip things around. Totally normal to do so. So you might leave today and be like, no, actually, I really want this as a value, or actually, I want to change my value to this. Make that adjustment. Make the change. You might be like, hey, actually, I want this to go into my value. This is how I know if I'm doing leadership. Just make an adjustment. You're flexible. All right, team confidence. Really important for team confidence. Team confidence is a couple different things. Same thing though. Like there's a lot of research about like what impacts outcome confidence, what impacts performance confidence. Still going to stick with physical and process. Still going to stick with that because on a team level, I'll dive into how they work. It's a bit different individual. On team level, physical confidence is belief coming from training, practice, preparation. But what that looks like is different than individual. So on a team level, it's practicing together. You can gain physical confidence from your teammates seeing like, oh, I see how you practice. I see how your work ethic is. I see how you put in your grind. I see how the effort you put in for practice. That's how you build, actually, where is it? Trust. There you go. Trust. Trust is a big one. So physical confidence comes from trust. Who said trust? Was it you that said trust? Nice. Physical confidence comes from trust. How you build trust is through those different things. Trusting your teammates and seeing the physical work they put in practice. So on the field, then when it's like, oh, I have a lane to make this pass, I trust that this person will be able to get it because we put in all that practice and all that effort and all that work together. But it's built upon something very, very concrete. It's not like, oh, I think this will happen. I got to do this to be able to win the game. I got to do this because the last time I did it, it's way more concrete than that. We put in effort for it. And if at the end of the game, it's like we miss 5 out of 10 of those passes, what do? You want to answer? What do you do? How do you build more confidence if you miss pass with a teammate all game long? Don't overthink it. Keep it simple.
Like when you make one good pass with that teammate, like reassures that you can do it.
Yeah.
Continue to do it.
Yeah, reassures they can do it. And then after the game, what should you do?
Ciao.
Yeah, chat with them. And then just practice more. Yo, just practice this more. That's it. It's very concrete. How do we build more confidence? We just practice it more. And as far as process confidence goes, it's, again, understanding the routine, understanding the game plan. The same things I talked about is understanding that it is a process. So when you're in the film room with one another, watching a film back, you're talking about having conversations about how can we get better as a team through the process of it. It's not like, hey, your performance was bad last game. Because if you have an individual confidence of performance, do you also hold that same standard for your teammate? You know what I'm saying? Like if your confidence comes from performance, you saw their last performance on tape, like, oh, they missed this, they missed that. So next game, do you have less confidence in your teammate? You know what I'm saying? So if your confidence comes from that side, it's like, oh, we missed this and that. It's all good. It happens. Like how many feel like games are 0-0? The perfect game. And even if a game is 0-0, I would argue it's still not a perfect game because what probably happened is both teams missed opportunities to make a goal. So it's probably a ton of mistakes everywhere. Everywhere. It's all process. So if you come with that standard, that's going to be able to help you become a better teammate. And how do we do that? Great questions. So coaching has some things too, actually, that coaches can do. Yeah, coaches do something like coaches help in a very specific way, and teammates help in a very specific way. It's like actually differentiated. So coaches is having like a mastery mindset, which I know Danny has because we talk a lot. So it's very much of like, so when Danny's preaching to you like, hey, we're aiming to get better. Every practice is to get better. You're going to make mistakes. It's part of the process. It is fine. It's how we actually get better. The only way to get better at something is putting more hours into it. It's just technically called deliberate practice. It's really simplistic. Situational pressure. So as coaches, you can be able to, we talked about this too. You just find some ways to be able to create some like situational pressure on the practice field and also off the practice field. So it could be like creating a specific type of drill, a specific type of situation. So when you practice that in practice, when it comes to game time, it's like, oh, we practiced this already. Like it's the physical confidence. Like we've already done this. We already know how to be able to do this or beat this team or beat this, not beat the team, but beat this defense setup that they have going on. Team events, all like regular casual team events that you all do. That's a really good way to be able to do it. Individual meetings, talking about like the process for each of you as individuals and what they see for you all throughout the season. And that might change throughout the season because it's part of the process. Having a process for the team. So like what coaches' expectations are for the team going into things, like for this next preseason game, like what is the process? What are we looking for? Even if some, like not everyone's going to agree on the process. So they might say something, you might be like, I don't agree with that. But at least if you know what they're looking for, it's a long way than not having any clue idea at all. So if you don't agree with it, it's still fine. It's okay. And also, you can also do accountability partners at some point if you want to, if you not want to, depending on like how this group feels about having accountability partners. So all of you said you hold yourself accountable. So you got an accountability partner. There's no problem with that, right? So especially if you know each other's values, you can be able to like ping off one another. For the team point of view, a lot of it is trust. The big thing is building trust. And how you do that is hanging out, studying together. And like studying together, you don't like not everyone's the same major. You don't have to be in the same room together. But even if you're like, hey, we're all going to study on the third floor. I'm not sure how many floors the library has, but like we're all going to study on like the third floor. And even if you're not in the same room, it's like the fact we're all doing something together. We're all hanging out together. We're eating together. That hangout time is a time to be able to build trust and learn about your teammates. Doing different events like escape room is like, again, that situational pressure, which is like not anything to do with field hockey. Like, how do we respond under pressure? How do we kind of manage these different things? That's how I build trust in my teammate. And I will say this. You could be the teammate that is, someone put it on there somewhere. Oh, I didn't. Oh, all right, fine. Leadership. You can be a teammate that like really promotes like leadership's like, oh, I'm going to hang out every single team event. And you ask one teammate and they always say no every single time. You're like, they don't want to hang out. What's up with them? It doesn't mean like, just because like you offer a lot, if someone like doesn't want to do those things, let's say someone parties all the time, like hangs out all the time, relaxes all the time, isn't as locked in as you are, that's fine. Don't judge that person for two reasons. One, Dennis Rodman, because that's what he did his whole career. Like he needed a party and that allowed him to be able to relax, to be able to play his hardest on game day. That might be the case. And even if it's not, and even if they're just like partying and like not really like locked in except for our practice, that's fine. Because at least they know they can trust you. They're like, oh, well, I might party a lot, but I know I can swing them the ball because I know they are really on it. So either way, does you benefit? And then like process, same thing. When in the film room, the weight room, practice, keep in mind that everything is a process. And as a teammate, be like, hey, it's all good. It's a process. We're going to figure it out together. That's how you build building relationships together. And that can also, how do you tie that into your values? So if your value is leadership, how do you tie some of these things from team confidence into leadership? If your value is selflessness, like how do you tie some of these things into your value of selflessness? So I'll give you like a minute or two if you want to tie any team confidence stuff into your values, you can write it in. All right, self-esteem. We're gonna like go through this one quick. This is tied into like values as well. Self-esteem is a positive, negative relationship that you have with yourself. So you need your phones again, actually. Yeah, grab your phones, and while you're grabbing your phones, I'll explain this. So self-esteem, the reason why self-esteem is important, let me just start there, is actually failure. So people that struggle with failure, typically have a low level of self-esteem. Doesn't mean you have a low self-esteem everywhere, just maybe particularly in your sport. People that handle failure really well have a high level of self-esteem. So what happens is, if you have a low level of self-esteem, failure happens, you see that as an ego hit, even if the rest of your team is positive. So if you have a low self-esteem, even if everyone's like, it's okay, no big deal, we got this process, you still see that as an ego hit. And then also, you can't tell what you did wrong. Your brain like fuzzes it out. And then also what happens is then some people actually end up blaming others. That's when you get in the film room. It's like, oh, what? No, that was his son, or that was like this person. Like that's what ends up happening. It's typically, possibly, a low self-esteem thing. You have trouble taking accountability. So how do you build self-esteem is a better question. Or where does self-esteem come from? Usually 3 different areas. And like it's not all like it's all one thing or one or the other. So someone might be like this. Like most of the team comes from social. So like social, like their team is really what builds them up. The team is really what gives them self-esteem. Part of it might be physical, their ability to be able to the same thing, or like physical confidence, training, practice gives them self-esteem. Academic in this terms, like research calls it academic, but in sports terms, it'd be like film study. Like if you study a lot of film, that gives you confidence in your abilities. So really quickly, another poll. I'm just like, where does your self-esteem come from? It'd be interesting to be able to see. We won't stay on this one too long, but it'd be interesting to be able to just look at it. Oh, interesting. No one's a nerd. Dang. Mine's academic. That's my self-esteem. I feel offended. All right, cool. So most people is physical and social, which is really cool. That's good to be able to know about your team. Obviously, you don't know who is what. Totally fine. The fact that you know, like, hey, most of us is physical. That means in practices. That means in the weight room. That means in drills. It's like if we really make sure that we focus on each other and positive with each other, that's going to impact a lot of people's self-esteem in a positive way. Knowing that, like, hey, my teammate has my back. That's good to know. And then social is also cool too. So like going out to outings, talking with each other is really important to each other. And obviously, like your bucket, you might be like, I'm mostly physical, but I'm also social too. So you might like spill across lanes as everyone would. So knowing these things about your team is really important and how that impacts you all. All right. We're going to go into all right, so that was the first system is value. So everything is wrapped in there. So instead of having like a bazillion different strategies for team confidence and values and self-esteem, you just wrap it onto values. Way easier to manage. You don't have to like look at it once a day, twice a day. Number two is during game day strategies. Now, I don't have a good name for this. I just call it the system. So this system will target multiple things: focus, motivation, self-discipline, confidence, pressure. It will target all of it. And the system literally takes 3 seconds to do. It's very short. It can happen in game day all the time. Now, before I tell you like what the system is, just the different components of the system are important to understand. Some of them we already went over. Focus, part of it is being able to get you to be in the present moment because that's when you're able to best focus. You can design it how you want. It's a structure that can fill in which coping strategies work best for you. So you might design it to be able to increase confidence depending on how you do it. Mental self-discipline is simply, regardless of your emotions, what's going to help you achieve your goal. Because sometimes you don't have confidence. What do you do then? Who cares? All you know is that this is what's going to help me achieve my goal. So this is like your fail safe. This is your safety net. Talk about that in a second. This is what I want to talk about. So like as I mentioned, sometimes like confidence, like lack of confidence happens, mistakes happens, failure happens, that builds pressure, and then that pressure ends up impacting your ability to actually perform on the field. How pressure works is this, I'll keep it really simplistic. We all see things as a stimuli, and we all interpret it differently. They call that cognitive appraisal. So how you end up interpreting what's happening, whether it's crowd noise or whether you have the ball on a breakaway and it's just you, you're like, oh snap, it's just me, or the ball's coming to you and it's 2v1, all these different scenarios. So instead of thinking about what you do in every single different scenario, just have one system, way more simplistic. But how you interpret the pressure. There's technically four. I'm going to keep it simple though. Threat or challenge. Most people, they see things like, oh, it's a threat. Like this can be like really bad for me. This cannot be really good for me. Like I might make a mistake. They might get by me, or this might happen, or I might miss. It's a threat. Other people see it as a challenge. It's like, oh yeah, come on. Like I want you to come this way. I want you to shoot it. I love that I'm all by myself. Like, so what's up? You see it as two different things. Then you usually have some type of emotional response, whether it's a negative one of like nervousness or anxiety about it, or fear of failure, or a positive response of excitement, enjoyment, some type of emotional response. And the secondary appraisal is like how you cope, what you end up doing. For the most part, there's like four of them, keeping it simple. One is disengagement, which is like, gotta get out of here, I don't really want to be here right now. I'm gonna like pass the ball away. You freeze, you hesitate, like what if I miss? So I just like won't shoot right now to get like the very perfect angle. And by the time that happens, the ball gets taken away from you, or like the defense or recovers, or whatever the case may be. Or task oriented. What do I need to do? Everyone knows. Actually, I'll ask. Who's a defender in the room again? I'll ask you. What's the like? Make sure I phrase it properly. Actually, no. Who's a goalie? All right. Ask a goalie. What's the best way for you to defend the ball that's being shot on goal? Like, what do you focus on? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, perfect. So every one of you has some type of thought process depending on what your role is. Like if this happens, this is the best way to defend that. If this happens, is the best way to do that. That's your task-oriented process. So when pressure comes, how do you get here? because that's going to impacting your performance in the most positive way. And then you also have habits. So this system, if you do it over and over and over again, eventually your brain takes it as a habit. Best way that I can explain habits is it's like a little formula. You have a system or a cue. You walk into your kitchen. What happens when you walk into your kitchen? What do you feel? Hungry. So what do? Open the fridge. And then you get a reward. You get some kind of food from it. Also, what happens, like you walk into your kitchen to get like a charger and you open your fridge, you're like, why am I in the fridge? It's because your brain has this system. And habits can take between 14 days and 251 days to be able to build. It's not 21 days. I know it's like a little myth out there, but it's like between 14 days, like 250, depending on like how stringent you are in building them. When you do this system over and over and over again, eventually your brain will make it a habit. So when pressure happens, it automatically jumps to doing this system. What is this system? Great question. This is a system. So it's about getting in the present moment, seeing things as a challenge or a benefit. Benefit was one of those other ones I didn't talk about. A challenge means like you see it as a challenge, you want to embrace that. A benefit means like pressure. Oh, if it's pressure, I already won. I'm so good at pressure, I dominate, I crush pressure. So people can have those two thought processes. Then being task-oriented. What do you do about it? Like for you, like when that happens, like that's your task-oriented. So how you get to these different things is all different strategies. This is going to be your second system we'll do today. First one, I'm going to explain all the different coping skills, and I'll give you all some time to like create your own system, like fill in the blanks for what you think will work best for you. To get into the present moment, grounding is probably one of the best strategies. If someone is in a full-blown like anxiety attack, and if you ever witnessed an anxiety attack before, person is like disassociative, they can't focus on what's going on, like heartbeat is going super high, they very heavy breath, they can't really hear anyone. The best way I get someone back from that is grounding, which is literally like, what do you touch? Like, what do you see? What do you feel? Here's an ice cube. Do you feel how cold it is? Do you feel how wet it is? That's the best strategy. So that works for like high anxiety episodes. It will work for you when it comes to pressure. It's the best thing you can do. And like you can use all the different senses, but like, and again, every sport is different. So in field hockey, being able to like find something you can see and look at as a reference point might be difficult because you're so fluid. Again, baseball that works, and tennis that could work because of things like pause. But if you have touch, so if you touch something, that will bring your mind back to the present moment. And also you have self-talk. Some people will use self-talk of like right here, right now, next play. You can use self-talk as well to get you to the present moment. Challenge, to see things as a challenge and a benefit. You can use a lot of different things. Self-talk is probably going to be your main strategy. You'd be like, bring it, shoot it. Like, I want you to do that. Embrace it. Whatever that works for you. You also go after past experiences, which is like a cognitive behavioral thing. Not past performance, past experiences. Like, I crush it when there's pressure. When there's pressure, I do extremely well. I'm going to crush it when there's pressure now. Physical confidence, I train for this. So the ball's coming your way. It's like, oh, I train for this. Cognitive reframing. Again, if you have that negative emotion, it's reframing that into, oh, no, actually, I want to be able to embrace this moment happening right here. Process. I'll get to process confidence in a second. I'll do that one later. Then you have task-oriented. Taking a deep breath is really important. Well, yes, because also it lowers your heart rate. It also levels out your blood pressure as well. And then also focus. Again, like what do you need to focus on? Is it like the hip movement? Is it like the focus on the stick? Is it the focus on the ball? Depending on what your position is, and also depends like what is best for you as an athlete. So how this will look, and this takes 3 seconds. How this will look if you're going down. Oh, I got you all wristbands too, to be able to use like the whole grounding thing. So anyway, how that looks is this. If someone's coming down the field, I can see it coming down the field. Like it's going to take a few seconds to get here. I'm coming back. I'm like, all right, cool. Grounding myself. Oh yeah, I want them. Come on, come this way. I want you to come this way. Deep breath, ball. Because that's like your focus cue. That's it. It takes 3 seconds. And the more you do that, that's how you can interpret pressure. And you notice emotions aren't really in that. So if I feel anxious about something, like, no, actually, I want you to come this way. You're training your brain to see that as a challenge and as a benefit instead of as a threat. The more you do it, the better you get at it. When it comes to practice, you'll do the same thing. Maybe it's not like game day style, but you might see it as a process. Like this processing is a process thing. So I'm going to take the next 5 to 7 minutes-ish. Write out your system. What is going to be your game day system for when these moments happen? Do you have any questions before you write it out? Cool. Cool. All right. Anyone want to share theirs by chance? I'll share mine first, so I don't put you on the spot. Mine is self-talk. So I always say, yeah. I'm a tennis player, by the way. It's like that's my sport I like to play. So mine is always like self-talk. So I always say like deeper, like deeper in focus. Because I know like when I focus on the ball and tell it what I need to do, that's how I end up hitting the best shot. And then as far as challenge or benefit, like I always say, like I always welcome everything. I always have a big smile on my face. Doesn't matter. And then I always breathe. And then it's like, especially before I serve, it's like, all right, out wide, slice serve, down the tee, whatever. If I'm returning and it's like I'm hitting it middle, I'm hitting it cross court. That's like my process for every single thing. You want to share their system that they wrote down? Nice. Yeah, like as you kind of like practice it more and then use it in practice, you be able to figure it out like, oh, actually, when I focus on this, like this helps me better in this situation. When I do this, this helps me better in this situation. So it kind of travels. So what I bought you all today as a gift, I'm supposed to have more of these, but like it's all Gucci. So I bought you all wristbands. So every wristband, all of these say embrace it all, which is essentially like embracing the pressure. I have two other ones. One says process and the other one says dominate. Those two are behind in their delivery. So I like if you want a different one, like I'll give it to Danny and she can give it to you all later on. But for now, I want to give these to you all. So you can grab one and pass it around. You're very welcome. Does anyone want one that says like process on it or one that says dominate on it? You figure out like I want one of those. Just like I'll give you some anyway, Danny. So like since they messed up, like there seemed like a bunch of them, so I'll send it to y'all. But these are really cool. So they're embossed, which is like going to promote the whole grounding thing. So if you are like wherever you're at, you can like easily just rub it real quick, and you know what it says on it. And like let's say when they say something else on it that's not on here, whatever you want, like you know that's going to be your cue of like that's going to help ground you, and then that's going to help be whatever phrase of self-talk you have for yourself. So the faster you can make it, the better you can make it. All right. Team confidence, what it looks like during. Really quickly, for coaching, again, it's different for coaches and teams and teammates. Coaching is like a positive, most coaches say like positive coaching, which means like building on self-efficacy. It doesn't mean all sunshine and rainbows, not necessarily what it means, but being like, hey, I know you have good footwork. I know you can get that. Hey, I know you have good this. I know you can get that. It's building on self-efficacy or your belief in that specific skill that the player has. And then also encouraging process. Like, hey, whether it's halftime, and I guess halftime is pretty short, but it's like where we need to be. We've been doing this, now we're going to change it up and do this. This is what the game plan was for today's game. We're following the process into that. For coaches, for teammates, very simply, like cheering your teammates on is extremely important. Every single game you have, like when you guys play it on Sunday, should be cheering your teammates on. Every single one of you. For some reason, obviously, but it's really, really, really important for every level of athlete. And also encouraging self-efficacy. So if someone makes a mistake, it's like, hey, like this is what we trained for. It's all good. It happens. What are we doing? We're going to do next. We're in this process together. Oh, I missed something. What happens when you don't have confidence? Like, what do you do? So if you don't have confidence, it happens sometimes. It's okay. It's a part of the process. All you can do is focus on what task you need to be able to accomplish. I have no confidence in like me stopping this right now or me doing this right now. What I do know is when I have this focus, when I focus on like meeting the opponent up there, if this is where they're at, I know that's the best chance I got to be able to block this goal from coming in. That's what I do know from fact. So all I'm going to do is just ground myself, take a deep breath, and that's what I'm going to do. That's the only way you can be able to improve your performance. Wallowing on it is not going to help you. Now having confidence on it, like, I have no confidence. No, it's not going to help you. It's just not. The only thing that's going to help is moving forward. So process is like, it happens. What do I do next? Get the ball stolen from you. All right, bet. What's the best I can do to get myself back in position? Simply it. Emotions aren't really involved when it comes to like not having confidence. Just delete the emotions. You don't need them. Throw them out. Focus on the process. All right. Oh, part 3. After game day strategies. This is all this builds on some of the value stuff, builds on the team confidence stuff. So there's not going to be any new system you're learning here. It builds onto it. So after game day strategies, for coaching, is like a bunch of different things you can do, but one I think is pretty cool is like after each practice or after each game, like review your team values. Like, did we live up to the values as a whole team? How did we do with that? Like, did we, like, where we, whatever you guys values come up with, like, and what falls into those values? Did we do that stuff as a team? That's a cool one to be able to have. On an individual level, it's like you can review your own individual values. Like when you're on the bus, you could be doing this. For practices, it's really cool. Like, how was I mentally? You know, have good practices, you know, have bad practices, but how did you respond mentally? Is really important. Did I get frustrated and upset and like throw my stick? Did I get frustrated and yell at someone else? Like, how did I actually respond mentally in this practice? And then also like review your process. If you know, like once you know what your process is, what did I do well in my process? Like, what do I need to improve on in my process? Do I need to change something about my process? Like, if your process is, like I mentioned before, like making better assists, how is that going? Is the drills that I'm doing, is the communication I'm having with my teammate, is there a progress there? Am I progressing in the right way? If I am, great. Follow the process. Trust the process. That's what trust the process means. You gotta know what the process is. If it's not, what changes do I need to make? Do I need to talk more with my teammate? Do we need to do more drills? Like, what do we need to do? Do we look at film together, just her and I? Team, again, like as a whole team, reviewing team values, same thing with the process. For team and process as far as team confidence goes is really important. Are we cheering each other on as a team? Are we finding time to be able to hang out as a team? Like when we work out in the gym, is all of our headphones on and no one's paying attention to anybody else? How can we be able to develop more as a team and build more team confidence? Those are all cool things. All right, that's after strategies. Oh yeah, there's bonus strategies too. There's two bonus strategies. One is meditation. Another is visualization. So these are going to be before. It could be on game day too, technically, I guess. But like before actually stepping onto like the field. Meditation is really good because for meditation, you practice on being focused inside the present moment. It's like the whole thing about meditation. So what you could do, you could practice it whenever. It doesn't matter. It could be morning, night, doesn't matter. It's just the same way like you practice working on a muscle, you're practicing working on your brain muscle. So simply just focusing on your senses, closing your eyes. Obviously, you can't do sight then, but that's okay. Closing your eyes, focusing on your breath, moving in and out of your lungs, focusing on what you smell, focusing on what you hear, focusing on what you touch. So I told all of you to focus on what your hand is touching right now. Whole different level of sensation. Like, oh snap, I can feel my pen. Like, what? I'm holding a piece of paper. It's all like I'm feeling like holding an eraser. Like, it's different. So meditation allows you to be able to practice being in the present moment. So when you utilize your system of like being in the present, your brain is already trained for that. Visualization is also really good. So like during meditation, so usually I like to meditate when I do it. I meditate first, and then in like the back half, the next like 2 or 3 minutes, and I visualize slash imagery, same thing, like how I'm going to react in certain situations and certain moments. Like, so when this happens in the game, how am I like visually picturing myself react? They're coming. I'm saying this to myself. I'm focusing on this. All right, cool. So when game time happens, your brain is practicing for those moments. The two bonus strategies you can be able to do. All right, question time.
In one of the parts, we were saying like maybe you're messing up like 5 in a row,
Mhm.
and like Dharma was kind of saying like focus on like that one good one that you have. What could be like another strategy that we might have? Because maybe you're missing 5 in a row and you're not making one.
Yeah.
So what could we like do?
I think it's process. It really is process. Like, for example, what position do you play again?
Defense.
Defense. Okay, so all right, give me an example, like a real life example of like you missing.
I'll let in the ball and I give it to the other team.
You give it to the other team. I mean, like, again, like what option do you have? You're just gonna like not get the ball anymore. You know what I mean? So if that is happening, again, that might be impacting your confidence. It might be like I'm failing a whole lot. What do I do? Is you simply just like buckle down and like what do I need to focus on? What's gonna give me the best chance at defending this person? Everyone's different. Like every team, this person might be really fast, this person might be really agile, they might be really strong. Everyone's different. So it's like, what is my best case scenario to be able to defend? And that's that. And your teammate should be like, yo, like I know you're good at X, Y, and Z. Because as they get to know you better, they're gonna know what you're good at. It's like, yo, I trust you. You got this. That's the best chance you have. And maybe you do lose 5 in a row. It also happens. Like it happens sometimes. Yeah. I don't know if that's the best answer, but that's like the realest answer I can give you is like you just simply dig deeper into what's going to actually help you perform better. Only option you got.
You talked about like following your system to like better prepare yourself and be more confident and deal with pressure in a game.
Mhm.
But is it this, how would you like remind another teammate? Like if you can tell that like the person next to you or in front of you is kind of like slipping or losing their process and their system, like do you use the same strategies to remind them?
Great question. It depends. I think it's you can. It depends on what's going to help them. Like for some people, it might be like, "Yo, you got this," or like, "Yo, you know what your system is. Like you got your system." But some people, it depends. Like I think as you get to know your teammates, they'll tell you like, "This is what's helpful. This is what's not helpful." Like if you have a break, like you have like a quick little 5 minute break, it's like, "Yo, I see you out there. Like, what's helpful for you right now? What can I do?" And that's why the relationship is so important. Then they know what you're talking about. That's why it's good to have everyone in this room. So it's like, hey, like, yeah, I'm slipping. What I really need you to do is just remind me, just like focus, focus, focus. I really need you to do this. Or can't really do anything. Like, I got it. I'm putting it together right now, but like, I appreciate you. So it all depends on like the person.
Okay.
But having that conversation is good. Actually, well, what would you want someone to do for you?
For me, I guess it's like I kind of know when I'm messing up or when I'm
Mhm.
doing something wrong. So just like you're good, like you got it, next play, like move on, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess like a refocusing.
Yeah, good. Yeah, yeah. So that's the beginning of the systems. Like you got it. Next play. Next play. Next play. Nice.
Got
Thanks. I know it's probably like different for tennis, but do you ever feel like you don't like have like your mind is like elsewhere that you don't even like think to even go through the system in your head where you're like so focused on like actual like tactical parts of tennis or field hockey for us?
Yeah, it definitely happens. It slips. Like that's what the fifth pillar is like self-regulation, your ability to be able to regulate your confidence throughout game, and it wavers. It goes up and down. Actually, it really wavers by halftime. Is what they found out. Like wavers a lot by halftime. And so really, it's just like that's why having a system is important. Like, I reset myself. So sometimes I'm getting frustrated. Sometimes I'm getting angry, or it's like as a dad with two kids, like I can't go out and like practice every single day like I want to. It's not. I mean, I guess I just neglect my children, so it's not really like feasible to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like at one time, and I play obviously recreationally at this point now. It's like my serve's not working, but also like I don't have time to practice my serve. Like so, this is just annoying. I'm missing it because I don't have time to practice it. I know I would be better if I had the physical, but actually like Charles, who gives a shit? Like, the best way to be able to hit the serve is knowing that focus on where you need to be able to hit the ball at. That's the best thing you got. And Charles, you need to embrace all of it. So back up to the lines, like, is that process? Now in tennis, obviously, I have time because it's like at points, like if the ball's all the way over there, I can like, get to it slowly and like recollect my thoughts. Like you all don't have that same type of luxury. But yeah, this really is just it's gonna waver, but the more you practice it, the more it becomes a habit. So your brain automatically is gonna reel that in and run that system. Yeah.
Anyone?
So if you like are in the middle of a game and you like can't shake it, like you can't shake the negative self-talk, like you try to do everything you can on the field, what do you suggest in that moment you do?
Can't shake my own self-talk. What position do you play?
Forward.
Forward. Self-discipline. It doesn't matter what your emotions are. Like really a tough thing to say. Obviously, I'm a therapist, supposed to be all emotional, right? But it's like if you have negative self-talk, it's like, and like what I do know is this is the best thing for me to be able to do to be able to get this outcome I want to be able to get. So for you, if you're forward, what when you're performing your best, like what are you focusing on?
Scoring.
Scoring, but what about scoring? Like how do you hit the ball the best? Like what is your area of focus when you're hitting the ball the best way? Do you have like a focus for like I need to focus here on the ball or focus here on the ball or focus on the net? Like how do you score best?
Probably like I don't know. It's just like depends
Nice.
on the day. Like if my shot's on or if I'm finding the gaps in the circle. If I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's a good answer. Like if you don't know, it's like finding out what that is. Like on some foundation, every situation is different, but on some foundational level, when am I hitting? What am I focusing on when I'm hitting best? Like, what am I like focusing on? If you know that, then when a negative self talk is happening, it's like, yeah, that's happening, but regardless, I need to focus on this. So it's gonna happen. Like you can like defend against it, like, hey, like I need to think like happy thoughts, or I need to think like I need to embrace it. I need to embrace it. I need to embrace it. Like it's not working. Regardless of your emotions, it's like this is the best chance I have of getting this ball into the net. Maybe it goes in, great. Maybe it doesn't, maybe it doesn't. But your practice, all the years you practice, all the reps you've taken, you know, like this is the best chance I have. That's simply it. So that's why I say like self-discipline is that fail safe because you're not always going to be confident. You're not always going to have all the emotions. It's not always going to work all the time. That's your fail safe. It's really weird. Like, don't worry about your emotions. But that's the best you got.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I really liked the like process part that we talked about. Like
Mhm.
we have to trust our process. Like we're a big process team,
Mhm.
especially like us because we've been here since like the transition. So we've always
Yes,
been
Danny.
like,
Yeah.
I trust the process type of team. But you were like, some people won't agree with the process,
Mhm.
and that's okay. How do we kind of help people like if we feel like they aren't get
Yeah.
on board with the process?
Yeah.
Because I do like agree, like you don't have to like trust the process, like you can disagree in some senses.
Mhm.
I feel like overall we really need to believe in the process. Like how would we get people kind of
Yeah.
on that?
I think it's having conversations about it. Like, if you're like, hey, this is our process, how it works as a team. Like, how does everyone feel about that process? And not everyone's, it's just 22 of y'all. Like, not everyone's going to agree with it. And some of the people are like, I don't like this about the process. I wish it was more like this. And maybe that changes the processes a bit. Maybe you're all like, oh, actually, that's a really good idea. Like, we will shift a bit. And maybe it's like, when we do this, it hasn't worked the best out. So like it doesn't produce the results that we want.
Yeah.
So part of the process is winning. So what's going to help you get to that goal overall? I feel like if we do this, like it really doesn't help us win games. So I think for that individual, if you're on the other side, like I really feel like if we just did this, like this would be way better. For that individual, I would say try the team's process. Try it out. If it's working, if it's statistically objectively working, and you're moving in the right direction, then you got to make adjustments. You got to shift. You got to be flexible. Someone have that up here somewhere? Adaptability. You got to be adaptable and shift and change. Like, actually, like this is my previous process and my previous team worked really well, but this team, this works well for them. So I'm going to make that adjustment. And then as you get to know each other, it's like having those conversations, like as leaders inside the room of, you're not trying to change everyone's mind. You don't need to like manipulate the crap out of people. You know what I mean? Like join us, you know what I mean? But it's like you get more of a sense of where they're at.
Yeah.
And maybe for that one player, it's like, I get your process, but I function like this. I just find like I play better, which helps you all play better when I function like this. And how can those two things join? Like they might be somewhere in a way. So then when you talk to them, if they're having a hard time, like you know what their process is, so you can tap into that. So then it boosts them in that realm. So yeah, knowing each other is going to be the biggest benefit to that, and also being adaptable. Coaches, this is your only time to ask questions. So fire away if you want to fire away.
Not sure what it was on that, but obviously it's funny that question comes from a senior who's been in because we are like the three who have process up there is probably me, you, maybe a couple other people.
Yeah.
I feel like they're bought in, and I think we talk a lot about the buy-in and how important that is and how much we've talked about relationships, and that's what everything stems on is relationships and communication, and finding that balance of how we communicate. And it's not even how we communicate, we must know that person so well, but making sure that they're doing their system, right? So I'm reflecting on my system of how we make touch points, right? Before the game, it's let's do this, and we high five down the line. And then making sure that these are the technical points, back to basics. We have our goals. Those are the technical things that can be done in a 2 minute quarter time. And then usually, what's the first thing that I say at halftime?
Like 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Think, deep breath, calm down, drink, reflect on your own play. And then we can start to really kind of decipher those things. I think that's the same thing for the coaching staff. Is like, I need them to like hang so we can step away and hang too. And then we can kind of come together. But I think it's just going to take time, and it's like begging people to be like, just hang in there with me. I swear it gets better. And just kind of, it's literally asking for trust in the process and just the fact that it takes time. But for us, it's balancing the emotion that comes with it. And everyone I know wants to win so bad, but we have to realize that our emotion, our frustration is kind of just going to get in the way of that.
Oh yeah, frustration doesn't help. It doesn't help at all. So like usually what happens, I'll tell you what happens when you get frustrated. When you get frustrated, what happens is it's very motivating. It happens in the same region of your brain that deals with motivation, and you really want something to happen. And you get really, but caveat is you also get very frustrated, and you also get really narrow-minded. So the reason why it doesn't help is if you get frustrated and you're like, I'm just gonna like break through their defense all on my own. Well, now you're going in like 1v2, 1v3, and then you're out of position, the ball gets taken, now you can't be where you're supposed to be, and that actually negatively impacts the team. Secondly, if I see you getting frustrated as your opponent, I'm going to tear you apart. Like mentally, I'm going to tear you apart. I'm like, oh yeah, your team sucks, huh? Like really? And you're like, yeah, they do. I'm like, haha, like I got you. So it's like frustration. Some people is like, I need frustration. I need to flush that out and to be able to get and reset. Every sport is different. For tennis, that might work because you have time and it's also just you. So like, yeah, you have a team in tennis, but really it's like your match. Like, yes, your match gets a point for your team, but it's just you in a court unless you're running doubles. You can get frustrated for a second and that helps you reset. And your all sport doesn't really do you much good. It doesn't do you much good. It's way easier to be more level-headed. Like, hey, this isn't happening. They missed this pass 3 times. I'm going to keep sending it to them. Because if I stop sending it to them, if I stop sending it over there, then the other team knows like they're not sending it over there anymore. So we can just converge here. And then if Danny has a process in place of like, we're going to send it over there for the first half, and the second half, we're going to start taking some things down the middle. I don't know, maybe that's wrong. Maybe like, that's stupid, Charles. We would never do that. I don't know what it is, but she can't get to that process if you start sending things down the middle because you're frustrated. You don't trust the process. Then Danny gets mad at you. And you're like, well, I don't understand. Because you have to trust the process in that sense. And getting mad just does not help. So how do you stop from getting mad? Take a deep breath. Like literally like taking a deep breath, like calm things down. And like, what is the process of what I'm trying to do here? And then is me getting mad and doing this helping the process? Probably not. Thank you. Appreciate y'all taking your time to be able to listen to and hopefully gain some different strategies. So all my stuff like podcasts. There's always a podcast that's there. My Instagram is there. So if you need like any questions for me, like afterwards, like, hey Charles, I thought about this, but what about that? You can also just DM me. Like I'll get back to you. I have a pretty good response rate, right, Manny? Yeah, you did. I can get back to you, right? So yeah. So I'll like just message me, like website stuff.